I want to conclude our economic discussion with the concept of fair tax and fair profits. What exactly constitutes a fair tax, and what exactly constitutes a fair profit? Government and industry have a partnership. The government has to be able to protect the environment for the industry, and therefore can demand for its services a certain amount of taxes. Well, what exactly is considered a fair tax? And some of you say, well, 40%, 50%, that's a fair tax. Well, stop for a second. 43%, which is the Clinton era high point, that's before state taxes. New York imposes a state tax of 12%. Then you've got New York City, city taxes. Then you've got all other kinds of taxes and fees. By the time you're done, the person is paying about 2/3 of his wages to taxes. In New Jersey, highest realty taxes. Many people can't afford houses. The cost of house taxes is almost as much as the average person's salary. And that's outrageous. People can't live under those circumstances. And so what happens is people have to scrounge and do whatever they can just to exist, to pay their taxes. They're not rich. They're making a living and just barely making it because the taxes are so high. And people say, oh, that's not fair if they're not paying this. What is fair? If you made $100,000 or $200,000, do you want the government to take $120,000 of that? Do you think that's fair? $130,000, do you think that's fair? Well, he'll have left set. Why should a person who's worked hard all of his life in order to get to a certain level of prosperity, why should he give away 2/3 of his income to anyone? That's outrageous. So what is a fair tax? A fair tax and a fair profit go hand in hand. What is a fair tax? A fair tax is no more than 20%. And it is possible that on top of that 20%, there's another few percentage points, up until 30%. That's the maximum limit of a fair tax. And that would go for businesses as well as individuals. Well, what about people who are very poor? There would be a certain element of basic subsistence, and that would be not taxed. And above basic subsistence, everybody pays 20%. Top bracket being 30%. And that would be a fair tax all across the board, based upon what it says in the Torah. 20 is the basic, and there was a few percentages that came from other taxes, other things that they did. But certainly no more than 30% or a third. That should be the limit of taxation upon a person. If a person keeps most of his earnings, he feels good about that. Then he spends money and invests. Then we have to talk about the relationship between taxation and profits. Understanding that the economic system cannot have people pulling out too much out of the system. Currently, the financial institutions, stock markets, and the banking industries pull out too much from the financial system. And this weakens the entire system, because everybody then wants to get what they're making. And everybody then is Pac-Manning whatever is there, and the common man gets the shaft. What you need is a self-limit of a certain percentage to be profits. What is that percentage? That percentage is 1/6, 16.66%. That is what the Talmud says that should be the limits for foodstuffs and things that people need. Things like real estate, that has no limit upon what the costs are. That should be whatever the market determines. But things that are basic services, things that are basic sales of things that are needed for the community, there should be a self-governing limit of 1/6. 1/6 profit after cost should be the amount that all of these industries should be getting. That way, you won't have these banking industries getting billions and billions of dollars and sifting off billions and billions from what they're doing, because those profits are unseemly, and the end result of that is that every CEO wants to make what a banker's making, and the end result is chaos. You have to have a fair taxation system and a fair economic profit system. And when you do that, and you have the workers as sharecroppers, sharing in the wealth, and a different relationship between labor and management, as well as investors, this will turn the economy around, and God bless America.